Hi, I'm Camille, creator of Futura Vaga. Note that everything you hear on this channel is fact-based, sourced and verified. Feel free to draw your own conclusions. Picture this. You are watching a video of a known politician. He is looking directly into the camera. His face is real. His voice is real. He is speaking, clearly, confidently, for over a minute straight. There is just one problem. He never said any of it. This is not a thought experiment. This is not science fiction. On March 11, 2026, merely a few days ago, an official United States political party published an 85-second video of a Senate candidate saying things he never said. The face was generated by artificial intelligence. The voice was generated by artificial intelligence. And the disclaimer? 4 words, in a font so small that a forensics professor at the University of California, Berkeley said, and I quote, "He didn't notice it when he first looked." What happened next is even more disturbing. Why? Because the whole thing was completely legal. Welcome to Futura Vaga. The machine is already acting on its own. We just document it. Today, we are analyzing how artificial intelligence was used to fabricate a real candidate's face and voice in an active US Senate election, and how the entire legal system has no answer for it. No conspiracy theories, just verified court-filed documentation, expert forensic analysis, and the terrifying truth about who controls what you see before you vote. What you are about to hear is not a warning about the future. It is a report from the present. Deepfake technology has crossed a threshold, the point where a human eye, without specialized forensic tools, can no longer tell the difference between a real politician and a fabricated one. And in the 2026 United States midterm elections, that threshold was crossed. Openly, officially, and with a small text disclosure that almost nobody read. On March 11, 2026, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the official campaign organization of the United States Senate Republican Party, published an advertisement on the social media platform X. The ad ran for 85 seconds. It featured a man looking directly into the camera, speaking in clear, measured English. That man was James Talarico, except it wasn't. Talarico is the Democratic nominee in the Texas Senate race. He is a real person, a real candidate, running in one of the most watched Senate races of the 2026 midterm cycle. The face in that video was not his. The voice was not his. Every syllable was generated by artificial intelligence. And the National Republican Senatorial Committee released it anyway, publicly, on a major platform during an active federal election. This is not an allegation. This is documented fact, reported by CNN, the International Business Times, and verified by one of the world's leading digital forensics experts. So, what exactly did the AI version of Talarico say? The video showed the fabricated candidate reading excerpts from his own past social media posts, things he actually wrote years ago, about topics including transgender issues, religion, and race. But the AI version did not stop there. It also had the fake Talarico deliver additional commentary, self-praising statements that the real Talarico never wrote, never said, and never intended. Hani Farid is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley. He is one of the world's foremost specialists in digital forensics, the science of detecting manipulated media. This is what he said after analyzing the video. The face and voice are very good. There is a slight misalignment between audio and video. But otherwise this is hyper-realistic. I don't think that most people would immediately know it is fake. A forensics professor, a man who spends his career detecting fakes, almost missed the disclaimer. That disclaimer, by the way. The words AI generated appeared in small, pale text in the bottom right corner of the screen. Not at the beginning, not as a voiceover, not as a full screen warning. 4 words, pale, small, in the corner. For a video that ran for 85 seconds, the longest deepfake political ad in American campaign history. Now here is the part where this goes from disturbing to deeply alarming. Was any of this illegal? Apparently, no. Texas has one of the strictest laws in the country on political deepfakes. A 2019 bill made it a criminal offense, punishable by up to 1 year in jail, to distribute a deceptive deepfake video within 30 days of an election. But the National Republican Senatorial Committee published this ad months before the November midterm. Completely outside that window, fully legal under Texas law. And at the federal level, there is no law, none. The United States Congress has not passed a single comprehensive statute governing AI-generated content in political advertising. Prosecutors must reach back to frameworks designed for fraud and defamation, laws written before generative artificial intelligence existed. What we are looking at is a legal void, a gap in the system large enough to drive a fabricated Senate candidate through. The committee was open about their strategy. A source inside told reporters that AI has been consistently effective for visualizing a candidate's real words, as if putting real words into a fake mouth is simply a production choice. Sarah Krebs, director of the Tech Policy Institute at Cornell University, called it competitive boundary pushing. Once one campaign demonstrates a tactic, others adopt it, rather than risk a perceived disadvantage. This is how a new norm gets established, not through debate, not through legislation, through escalation. The same cycle has already produced ads showing AI versions of real, sitting United States senators in fabricated scenes. Some carried disclosure labels, some did not. Federal legislation that would criminalize deceptive AI content about federal candidates was introduced in 2023. It has not passed. Now consider the timing dimension, because this is where the threat becomes systemic. The most dangerous deepfake is not the one that gets debunked. It is the one released in the final hours before polls open, when there is no time to respond. A hyper-realistic video of a candidate announcing withdrawal, or saying something disqualifying, circulating for 12 hours while votes are cast. This has already happened. In Ireland's 2025 presidential election, a deepfake showed a candidate withdrawing from the race, published days before the vote. In Australia that same year, fabricated articles were engineered specifically to corrupt AI chatbot outputs, so that voters asking their phones about candidates received manipulated answers. The battlefield has expanded beyond video. The information layer itself is now a target. And in the United States, that battlefield just opened its first official campaign season. Not with a foreign adversary. With a domestic political committee. With a small text disclaimer. With 85 seconds of a man who was never in the room. Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey said it clearly. These deepfakes are dangerous and wrong, and the protections needed are not just for politics, but for every American who could be targeted. As of release of this video, those protections do not exist at the federal level. The technology moves in days, the law moves in years. And between those two speeds, that is exactly where democracy is being tested. If you want to uncover more verified anomalies and declassified tech mysteries, subscribe to Futura Vaga. All official reports and intelligence sources used in this video are linked in the description below. And always remember, future is rogue. Stay awake.